Fáilte fé a cháirde. So if you want to ask a question in English, something like, do you want to come out tonight? There's nothing wrong with asking like that. It might seem a bit long, it might be a bit stiff, maybe a little on the formal side. And there's lots of ways you can kind of cut the question up or say it slightly differently to sound a little more looser, you know. So by the end you'll say something like, want to come out tonight? Out tonight? So the same thing happens in Irish, but I think when you get taught the language, you tend to get taught things more on the formal side. So if you want to learn how to loosen up your Irish questions, stick around. The first scenario where you can loosen up your Irish questions is when you have a verb phrase with the verbal particle on in front of it. So if you have a question like this, there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying the question in full. It's completely normal to do so. But to loosen up, two things you can do. So first thing, drop the N. It's really, really common to do this. So the full question, an bhfuil sé ann? No problem, but drop the N, a bhfuil sé ann. Really, really common, loosens it up a little bit. Second thing you can do as well is just drop the word completely, get rid of the on. So instead of saying an bhfuil sé ann, just say bhfuil sé ann. Drop the whole thing. And this is really, really common. So you can say bhfuil sé ann, you can say, if you want to say, do you understand me? Diggin to me, drop the on completely. The second scenario where you can really loosen up your Irish questions is when you're asking something in the continuous tense. So let's say you've got an Irish phrase like this, meaning, are you going out tonight? You can drop the on, like I suggested first, but actually you can drop the whole first half of that sentence. You can just say, or even just strip out the whole thing and say anocht, and people will know what you mean. These first two scenarios are a great way to loosen up your Irish and to sound a little bit more like a native speaker. But one point of caution, if you're asking what's called a copular question, so something which involves a classification, let's say you want to ask, you know, is it a man? You'd say on fare, but you don't tend to reduce the on in those kind of questions. So when it comes to verbs, you can absolutely do it, but in those copular constructs, you don't tend to. So it's a mini point of caution. Right, practice it, enjoy, and sound a little bit more like a native speaker. Bine guibhé.